Okay, now let's see if Rhino's chat will be working. It's working.
Looks like it is, although
working.
I am sized very weirdly.
You are not your avatar.
Correct.
Again. Studio mode. Best can. Color? Oh, that's down. Down. And crop you up. Bigger because that's a you problem. There.
It's the first time you've ever made me bigger.
No, it's not. Don't lie. I know better than that. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, I exist.
I do too. Yay.
Did you say yay or gay?
Yay.
Okay,
But
that's still pretty. That's
I,
still pretty gay.
I heard myself say it enough that I know how you heard gay. There was like kind of a tongue click at the beginning. That kind
Yeah.
of like
It's because you're from that country that we're supposed to be taking over in the future.
Denmark?
No, Canada.
No,
or Canada or Denmark or Greenland. I don't know. I don't think Trump knows the difference between any of those places.
It's all North America, right?
It's all North America. That's why we have to keep the Mexicans out. Because they're not part of North America. Despite the fact that they very much are.
Which Mexico are they from, though?
Snow, Mexico.
That's me. I'm a white Mexican.
True.
Fennec says my partner is teaching me to play. My partner teaches me to play, too. I don't know what game you're talking about. But you can infer what I was talking.
They're talking about Magic the Gathering.
Oh,
yeah. The collectible card game.
Big time sync.
That is. I rebuilt my Sauron deck. It's very fun.
Says Magic the Gathering, you pervert. You know what? You guys have all turned me into perverts.
I'm pretty sure.
When I started my channel, I would never have guessed that at some point there would be porn of me on the internet.
Yeah? And? What changed?
Your audience, mostly. I don't think that happened until we started streaming together.
Probably.
So I don't know why I'm the pervert in this situation.
It's all in your head. Something like that.
I mean, to be fair, I did goad my audience pretty hard into creating a WikiFeet page for me. But that was after there was naked pictures of me online from probably Stoff, Pernia, someone like that. Actually, I think the worst of them was probably Piper's. And that wasn't even one that I paid for. They were just like, I'm drawing a thing.
Fair enough.
But they're still on the payroll, so obviously I'm not that hurt by it.
Yet. Give it time.
Is that a challenge?
One day they'll accidentally not use lube.
Well, in a
then it will hurt.
Okay, sure. I do end my video that I forget. I recorded early this week, so now they're getting mixed up in my brain. I don't remember whether it's this Friday's one that's already done or next Friday's one that I've already recorded. But one of them I end by giving all artists blanket permission to draw me however they like. So it's a thing I'm okay with. It's weird to me, but I'm okay with it. So how was your New Year's?
It was pretty okay. I can't complain too much about it. Unfortunately, we did not actually get a chance to go to the diner because shortly after I got off stream, I went to the bedroom to grab Saki, and she was passed out. And she stayed passed out for the next, 5 hours.
That tends to happen on New Year's Eve in my experience.
Yeah, she was not feeling well, and when I basically, I woke her up and, Honey, you ready to go? No? Okay. Do you need to sleep? Okay. Do you want me to wake you up when New Year's happens so I can kiss you and then you can roll back into bed? Okay. That so
That's
my New
sometimes
Year's
that's
in
all you need.
my New Year's instead ended up being playing World of Warcraft with a couple friends
And you know what? That's
while
fine.
Saki slept.
That is fine. I like Niagara Falls has a thing where they do New Year's Eve fireworks at 8 p.m. for kids. Like you can take your kids and be like, "Oh yeah, I kept you up till midnight." So it's pretty
Till
great. Um,
midnight.
so for our New Year's, we were trying to find. Um, for some reason, my TV decided I have a lock on YouTube, so the kids can't just watch YouTube anytime they want.
Yeah.
So I have to put in a code. But for some reason, my TV decided it was going to stop giving me the numbers that I could choose from, and there are no numbers on the remote. So I'm just permanently locked out of YouTube on my TV until it decides to do otherwise, which is fine. I don't really use YouTube on my TV, but like that's where I was going to watch the ball drop in New York. I'm like, okay, well, Samsung has a built-in TV service to their thing that I have never used and has annoyed me to no end. So I will maybe get some use out of it today. So I went and found like there was a Canadian all across Canada New Year's thing, but it was boring as fuck. And the only
Mm-hmm.
other thing I could find was the Jonas Brothers did a concert. And let me tell you, man, we had some fun roasting the Jonas Brothers on New Year's Eve because they did not look like they wanted to be there at all. They were so grumpy. It was just
Jesus.
it was hilarious. Like it's like they're too old for this shit. They just want to go home and be with their families, but they got to perform these songs that like someone else wrote for them when they were kids. And
Yeah, that's kind of the problem of like being the Disney star is a lot of people get so locked into that like everything that they gained as a Disney star. There have been people who have written books about how fucked up their life became because they were like Disney child stars.
oh yeah, like for a long time, there it was actually a bit of a trope that if you were a Disney child star, you were going to die of suicide in your 20s after your long struggle with drug addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was just what happened. Like the kid that played Peter Pan, that's what happened to him. Bobby Driscoll, that was his name. But yeah. Uh, so did the Jonas nieces also do the concert, or is it weird that the Jonas brothers all have daughters? The Jonas nieces. I haven't heard of that. That is a little bit weird. The main thing I know of the Jonas brothers is that Nick Jonas kind of ruined the 25th anniversary concert of Les Mis
Mm.
because he was the only, and I don't blame him for that because he was doing the Jonas brothers thing. But the Jonas brothers thing is not proper theatrical singing. So
Yeah,
he was out of his depth.
you need
Um,
Wolverine from the X-Men for that. Hugh Jackman's a good singer.
he is. He's a really good singer. Um,
Jassa says, "Have you seen Raven Simone recently?" No, I have not. I don't keep up with the lives of Disney stars. Like there was a little bit of time where I did when I was a kid because Disney in between their shows would have these like fake interviews with the Disney stars all the time where it was like Disney corporate would send somebody to do an interview with the Disney star from within the Disney studio.
mhm.
So it was all like
It's
heavily
all very
scripted,
controlled.
heavily
Yeah.
heavily scripted, heavily controlled, very very fake. But yeah, oi oi oi.
I also it occurred to me after like I forgot that Hugh Jackman played Jean Valjean in Les Mis when you said that. I was
Mhm.
just like, yeah, no, I've heard him sing and he's a really good singer. But then I remembered the Les Mis movie and was like, oh, he was not a good singer in that movie. Because like he tried to do this thing where he like didn't drink water for 3 days before a take because he wanted to sound like all raspy and rough like a prisoner and
Yeah.
get all jacked and everything for the part because Jean Valjean's supposed to be really strong and like the strain in his voice is audible throughout the entire movie and it does not sound good. And
Jeez.
of course that was also during the Tom Hooper all musicals must be recorded live on set now for some reason instead of in a studio where you can actually make it sound good.
I think it's just because There was a shift at one point where people realized that it was cheaper to do a Broadway production and just film the Broadway production than it was to make a theatrical version, like a specialized theatrical version of a thing.
Yeah,
And once
but
they
the
realized that that was cheaper and people were going to see that anyway, a lot of
but
those,
the
like,
no, no, have you not seen the Tom Hooper Les Mis?
no, I haven't seen Les
Because
Mis.
it was not a theatrical production that they recorded. It was a movie. It was a full blown movie that they spent movie money on and had to spend
Oh,
extra money on a bunch of sound engineers to figure out how to do live recording on a movie studio instead of a Broadway stage that's made for that sort of thing. Um, so yeah, no, that was not what happened there. That was Tom
okay.
Hooper did an experiment. They were trying to do like, oh, you get the raw performance instead of like making your artistic choices in the studio and then doing it. But like the thing that he didn't understand with that is that like when a live performance, when the in a Broadway musical, when the person performing is making musical choices where they're not like strictly sticking to the notes on paper as they're singing, or when they hold a note for a little bit longer than it should be, or finish one a little
Mhm.
bit quicker. When they make those are choices that are made during rehearsal, and then they practice with those choices, and they make the same choices every time. And so
Yeah.
it's actually good. But what happened in the Les Mis movie, and this happened with Cats as well. That's actually a really fun movie to watch because of just how stupid it is and how bad everything
Mhm.
about it is. But like one of the problems with a lot of these live action we recorded all the sounds on set movies is that when they took the actual footage that they recorded back and had to orchestrate behind it because they were only singing with piano on the set, the
Mhm.
orchestra was now like completely out of time with everything, and so like the orchestration is sloppy in all of those things.
Fun.
Yeah, sorry, this is one of my pet peeves you kind of stumbled onto with your offhanded Wolverine comments.
Eh. Sometimes we go down the Tism train.
Usually it's your autism train, so I'm glad it's mine today.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anyone
Now
wants more
I get
information on that, watch Sideways. He gets more angry about it than I do.
now I get to play the part of Smile and Nodder.
Yeah. Okay. Should we do news?
Sure, why not?
I don't.
News sounds great.
Does it sound great?
Is it about Venezuela?
No, I'm not touching Venezuela today.
No, like
No.
really? Like
I
five
mean,
days
okay,
after
let's
it
talk about
happened?
Venezuela. Let's talk about
Yeah, I feel like
Venezuela without.
maybe of all the things not to talk about, the single highest profile thing that has happened in the last decade is
I
the thing
mean, there's
we're
probably
actively
tweets for
not
it.
doing.
There's probably tweets for it. I didn't pull an article for it.
Okay. I still want to talk about this a little bit though, because like,
So, okay, before we start, I have a question.
sure.
What jurisdiction is he supposedly being tried? Like, because are you allowed to arrest a foreign national who did a crime in a different country and then try them in the United States? Isn't that a massive jurisdictional issue?
I believe it would be. For the same reason
So,
that you like even within the states we try to have our court system try people like in the district where they did the crime usually.
yeah, and it's kind of a big ordeal. Like the only time that you can move jurisdictions is if there's been like such publicity around the case that there's no chance of you getting a fair trial in your own district.
Correct.
Um,
Yeah, it's the thing that's confusing me though is the amount of people that have just been completely gung ho for this. For a handful of reasons, I've heard arguments that hey, there were celebrations in the street when Maduro was taken away, and that was considered a reason why Venezuelans asked for this, they wanted this the whole time, and first of all, I want to say, does that mean that it would be okay if like 50% of America right now, maybe even more, would celebrate Donald Trump being deposed? They would, 100%. Would that make it okay if a foreign person, like if a foreign national decided that they were going to do that, they were going to just raid the White House and steal the president? Would that be an okay thing at that point? Also, I've seen another take with this that is confusing me, where they go, "Hey, did you know that Obama did this too, motherfucker?" The instances where Obama did it
Pause.
were in the middle of a previous war. What's up?
Pause. Apparently, I forgot to update my restream channel, so I'm streaming on not the correct thing on YouTube, and the title is wrong on thing. So I have to go post a link in the chat. I'm not going to stop the stream and restart it. I'm just going to continue on the wrong link, but I'm going to post the correct link in the chat. But I have to find it first.
Fair enough.
Oh.
Fair enough.
Title is wrong on thing. So
yeah,
shush. I found the link. And you guys can hear it, I think. Doop.
But like, one of the arguments that I've been seeing for this is that, well, Obama killed Osama bin Laden without congressional approval. And for that, I'm sorry, but Osama bin Laden was part of an active war that we had already been involved in from before Obama became president. Like, that was the end result of an active military effort that was spanning before, not the first stone throwed. Then Obama invading Libya. The opposition kills Gaddafi. There was no approval for that. Cool. Congressional approval should have been there for that, and that was the thing that Obama did without it. Cool. Congratulations. You got one. I also think congressional approval should have been needed for that as well, because the ability to do acts of war is held within Congress, like the power of the purse. Also, I hear me again.
Yeah,
anyway,
I'm sorry.
It's okay. And then
I clicked on a thing and
then I saw one that said, like, well, Biden killed the Al-Qaeda leader in 2022, and there was no congressional approval. Like, motherfucker, the bombings happened in Afghanistan, the country we had been at war in since 2001. Of course there was no congressional approval for that. We were in the midst of an active war, you dumb fuck. Biden pulling us out of that was news, not Biden throwing bombs into it. Anyway, the takes I see on this are so nightmarishly goddamn stupid that if I were to apply literally any of them to modern day America, people would freak the fuck out. But it happens in a country that people didn't know anything about until fucking yesterday, and suddenly they've got different opinions about how it's actually okay for us to go do imperialism. And fucking Trump even went on record and said it was about oil. He even literally fucking said, we did this so we would have control of the oil. When the one thing that we as Americans joked about for 2 decades, from the last war we were in, the last major one we were in, the supposed war on terror that probably was just about oil reserves and shit. That meme floated around the internet for 2 fucking decades, and when the president of the United States confirms that shit, suddenly it's like, but it's okay. It's in U.S. interest. This is actually America first. How?
Yeah.
I'm so confused. I don't want to live in a country where my president can send me to war in a draft with no pushback from Congress, because he can just decide that's a thing he does today. I don't want to live in a country where a man with more money or power than fucking sense says that my family gets to die for his cause, because my family's all been in the fucking military.
But Cyrus,
I don't want to live in that world.
But Cyrus, I have it on good authority that if Trump keeps up with this behavior, then the Democratic leader, Chuck Schumer, he might wag his finger at Trump, and maybe even give a tss. He might do that. You're right. Also, I'd like to thank Progress Only for this comment, which is what made me realize that I was streaming to the wrong thing, because I saw that in the restream, and then I was trying to find it to highlight, and was like, why isn't it there? So yeah, U.S. law, because he's on our land, it's super sketchy at best. He wasn't on our, you had to go to Venezuela to get him, so that is not him on your land. Like, he's on the land now because we went to get him. But that's not generally how jurisdiction works. Oh, yeah, that's right. The highlight my message thing still exists. Stealing how much heavy sour crude oil that we can't process. You guys don't even have the processing plants for that?
I don't know. Not an area where I have expertise. Then again, I also don't have expertise in international law. But the guy who runs the country doesn't either.
Pete Hegseth. Or Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller was in the room while they were making those decisions.
Yoy.
So, yeah.
This whole situation is infuriating. It really is, because like, here's the last part. Not the last part, but the last thing that's like currently on my mind about it. Let's pretend for a minute. Let's pretend for a minute that we did take a dictator out of office, and that was a good thing to do. There's a problem with that. We did not actually instill a regime change. It would be like if Donald Trump left office right now. What would happen? Nothing would fucking change, because JD Vance would be at the front. And there might have been a time where JD Vance would have actually been a better thing for us on the left side of things, because he was flagrantly unpopular. But thanks to Turning Point USA, he's not unpopular anymore. He's popular within his own party now. So guess what? The same thing is happening in Venezuela, where the vice president took over right after we deposed the president and took him over here. There's not even a fucking regime change. We have people supposedly celebrating in the streets for nothing. Nothing.
I mean,
it's the thing in George Orwell.
When Trump dies, I will celebrate in the streets. No,
right.
even knowing that JD Vance is just going to take right over.
But
like, it's going to functionally change not much.
It's there's a moment in I believe it's 1984, where the state tells everybody that chocolate rations have been increased to 20 grams for each person per day, or something like that. However, the people who were living under like the Big Brother state authority in 1984, their previous chocolate rations were 30 grams. But they were told that they had an increase to 20 grams. Now, the state was lying to the people in that story because there was no increase, but they were framing it that way. It's the same fucking thing here. There isn't a functional change, but it can be framed that way.
It wasn't a room, it was a cloth rag partition. Did you see the thing that they set up to do this operation? The command center that they had? Oh, it was straight up just like a room in a Mar-a-Lago ballroom, where they didn't even have like the curtains and poles set up. They just threw a bunch of black tablecloths like over some I don't know what they were, but it wasn't. It was just something that was already in the room that they just hung tablecloths over to make it look like a black curtained off room. But like the tablecloths were see-through, and they had a big screen TV in there that had a Twitter feed up on it. It was
a Twitter feed.
A Twitter feed. They were checking Twitter while they were doing this to see how people were responding. Because I don't know, that's how this administration works. Although I do find it funny that he was using a Twitter feed, not a true social feed.
You know what? I have another media allegory for this one. How many of you have seen The Orville?
I've seen up to some of season 2.
Okay, so there is an episode of The Orville where they visit a planet where your ability to live is determined by the state. But the way that the state determines whether you should be executed, whether you should be celebrated in society, what your pay should be, it's all based on popularity. So what happens in the show is a player, or a one of the main characters, goes viral for doing something offensive that he did not know was offensive. He goes viral in their super social media saturated planet, and they call for his execution basically within like a couple days, because he goes viral for being a piece of shit, even though he didn't know or have any context for like what that meant. That feels to me like that's basically how the Trump admin operates. They literally just go, what would be a popular thing to do? What would get my base happy for 12 seconds? That one. Let's go do that one. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. If it doesn't, we'll just try something else next week. Keep distracting them so they forget the fact that I raped a 13-year-old and had their child fucking murdered by their uncle in the Epstein files.
Yeah. So, where are we? All right, this is going to come up funny, but I have the picture. That's the war room that they had. So that looks like those convention center like pipes that they have that you would drape, like hang black curtains on, but
Yeah.
it's not. Those are just like the rafters or something in the room that they've tossed tablecloths over that you can still see through them. You can see the Twitter feed that they have up in the background. Yeah. Oop. No, go away. I don't know how to zoom, but like, yeah, that's the Twitter feed. And of course, like Pete Hegseth is in charge there, but like that was his command center during this operation. Couldn't even leave Venezuela, leave Mar-a-Lago.
Why would I leave Mar-a-Lago? My place is perfect. Everything is perfect. The Situation Room in the White House is not equipped for me.
Oh, it's supposed to be. Okay. So, are you done venting about Venezuela? Do we have
Yeah,
anything
I'm
else
done.
to say?
I'm done with Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Do you have any thoughts?
I do, but it's mostly just confusion because I
Okay.
I haven't been following it closely. So I have this thing where when I get too depressed by certain news items, I just stop reading about them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of a defense mechanism because it's like nothing I can do will affect anything about how Trump is handling Venezuela. So like there comes a point where it's like, okay, do I actually, like, yeah, being informed is important, but do I actually need to know this, or can I just for my own mental health, I'm not looking at that anymore. So
Are you
that's kind
telling
of
me that are you telling me that the idea that your neighboring country could send the military without any congressional approval into another country and take the leader of that country and bring him here to try them on crimes they didn't even commit here? That's depressing to you? The idea that America would just do all of the things that Noam Chomsky talked about in manufactured consent, but just did them flagrantly and openly instead of doing them like with any tact at all? That's depressing to you?
yeah.
Wild. That's
Yeah,
insane.
it's the same reason I actually don't listen to Skeptic's Guide to the Universe anymore. Not because it's a bad podcast, but because they keep on talking about climate change, and it was around the time when Trump got reelected that it's like, okay, all these climate change discussions are not going to get better, and there's nothing I can do about that, and it just gives me existential dread when I hear about it. So I'm just like, okay, that's not in my podcast rotation anymore. There's probably a lot of good stuff I've missed out on, but
Yeah.
I don't need the existential dread. I've got too many children to worry about that. Uh,
No, that's
Speaking of
fair.
existential dread related to my children, that's a good segue into our first news segment. It's not like directly related, but like I have a bunch of kids that are in the LGBTQ, specifically the T, and this is kind of indicative of how they can expect to be treated in life. Because you remember what's her face, Fulnecki, Sarah Fulnecki, Samantha,
Yeah, Sarah. It's
Samantha,
either Samantha Fulnecki
the
or
Fulnecki
Sarah
lady.
Fulnecki. I don't know. You never go Fulnecki.
Yeah, so you remember her and how she was being persecuted by getting a 0 for not doing the
For
assignment
not doing a fucking
because
assignment?
she
Yeah.
answered the question with God instead of doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
So the teacher, who I think we neglected to mention last time, the teacher is non-binary, or the teacher's assistant that graded it,
Yep.
is non-binary. So that's important because like that changes the context a little bit from it's not just her saying Jesus instead of doing the assignment. It is her actually attacking her TA.
I'm going to pause for just a second because I see that there's a person in the chat right now that I want to say a thing to. Hey, Cog, just out of curiosity, 50% of Americans would celebrate Trump being taken out of the United States
at least.
Violently. Like that, 50% of the United States would celebrate that.
That doesn't make it okay.
So the statement, people in the United States are happy, I've seen them posting, celebrating, would not make it okay if a foreign country did that to us. So do you think there is something super special, awesome about America or Venezuela that make them like immune to that reality? Feel free to answer that, or do what you did last time, like a coward, and not answer that. Anyway, continue.
Oh, is this the same person that was in the chat last time? When we were talking, what was it? I forget what the topic was.
I have their last stuff. See here, Biden and Kamala could have released the Epstein files during their admin, so why
Oh
didn't
yeah,
they?
yep, yep, yep.
Yep.
The person that was like, okay, good. If Biden's in the Epstein files, arrest the
Yeah,
motherfucker.
fuck him up too. So if you decide that, like a coward, you would like to say your thing, get your reaction, and then move on to your next thing to get a reaction, then I'm just going to ban you from the chat so you can't have that kind of fun. If you would instead like to have a back and forth dialogue, like an adult, then that's something that I am a-okay
I'll send the
having.
Zoom link to the chat.
Like I have no problem having that dialogue with you, and I in fact encourage you to seek out that dialogue with people of different political opinions. But it is not having a dialogue with someone to just say a thing in an attempt to rile them up and then move on to the next thing to rile them up. That's not what an adult does. That's what a child does who pokes and prods to see where they're going to get their next giggle.
That's rage baiting, except we have fun with it, so it's not really
Yeah.
rage.
The difference is when you do it, I make money off of you. So please keep doing it.
Yeah, the rage bait, the transaction's supposed to go the other way. Anyway, so yeah, so with relation to Samantha Fulnecki, Oklahoma University has now removed the teacher's assistant. So not only did Fulnecki get like she didn't get full grade, she didn't get full marks for this project, but they removed it entirely from her from consideration. Basically, it's not impacting her final grade whatsoever. So it's essentially the same as getting a pass on it. So not only did she get a pass for saying Jesus instead of doing coursework, but now the person who said, hey, you need to actually do the coursework, not just say Jesus, got fired. So I don't it's
like that shit's insane to me because I remember,
especially like Oklahoma University is a real school. Like if this happened at Liberty University, I would be 0% surprised. I would be most surprised that they had a non-binary teacher.
This happened at Brigham Young, so therefore nobody's surprised.
But this is an actual, like, Oklahoma University, that's a public university, is it not?
Also, the only thing Cog said after the trans person getting kicked out is based. So Cog decided not to respond about the thing that they said before. They decided to instead continue trying to rage bait. So I am deciding that they are now banned. I am wielding the hammer myself. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. If you want to come in and have a dialogue, anybody, I welcome anybody to have that dialogue. I am willing to have that dialogue with you. If instead you want to come in and act like a 12-year-old child, I'll throw you in timeout like a 12-year-old child.
I'll do you one better. Instead of dialogue in the chat, if we can find a way to contact them privately, I would be happy to have them like on the channel.
Yeah, you can just come into the Zoom call.
You can hijack our stream right now. I will rearrange my windows. I mean, I imagine the call wouldn't be very long because they would just bounce from topic to topic with whatabouts.
And that's where you just hold them onto the topic. Like, hey, that's an interesting topic, but let's continue talking about the one we were talking about.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying we would fall for it. I'm just saying that I don't feel like, based on our previous experience with this person, I don't feel like they have the capacity to...
I don't think they're all there mentally. I think their parents failed them. I think that's what happened. I'm going to be honest. Like, I think this is a situation where either the parents or the school system failed this individual, and that isn't really my problem.
Progress Only says, oh sure, bring on a rage baiter, but not me. I'm sorry, Progress. Did you know if Progress Only was on the front page of their local newspaper for the first ever edition in the new year?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so congratulations on that, Progress Only. You're great. Keep doing what you do. I don't know, if we don't really do guests, this is just more an interesting, like, commenter that keeps coming back, and like, if you actually want to have the conversation, we can have it, but
like, not to say this in a way that sounds like bad or manipulative in anything, but it's 100% that. I would rather take the time to do one of two things. I would rather take the time to either grab a right-winger who would otherwise be destructive to themselves or those around them and get them to see a better line of reasoning, a better way of acting, a happier way to comport their lives. I would rather them do that I would rather engage in that experiment than, hey, let me grab my buddy on for a chat. I can talk to literally any of my buddies for a chat anytime I want, on stream or off stream. I very rarely get the opportunity to grab somebody from the other side of the political aisle unless I'm at the fucking taco place where they talk about Alex Jones conspiracy theories for some reason. By the way, fun fact, y'all know Fleur, the friend whose house burned down, whose fundraiser I've been trying to shout out. So a couple weeks ago, or not a couple weeks ago, but like a month ago, they came with me to the taco place for the first time, the taco bar that I go to every Tuesday. And at first they were like, wow, the prices are really low. This is really cool. And then they started hearing the conversations that happen when I'm there, and they just went, why is this happening? Why are these people like this? And I'm like, yeah, I talk to crazy people here sometimes. I've made videos about it. But
Cyrus, be careful with the sniffing. People are going to think you're on cocaine.
It's my allergies from pets.
I know that's what Kash Patel sounds like whenever he gives an interview. He just finishes every sentence with.
But like, if I want to just have a chat with buds, I can do that. I can do that anytime. What I can't do is have that opportunity to have a conversation with somebody from the other side of the political aisle. Alternatively, if they are somebody who is wanting to try to hijack the stream, to rage bait or troll, they just become content, and they are worth more monetarily at that point. And that sounds horrible and manipulative, and it is 100%. But if somebody's wanting to use me for their entertainment, I'm willing to use them for my financial gain. I think that's an even exchange.
All right. Sorry, I was distracted. I was fixing. There was a little bit of the purple background showing below you, and I had to fix it. Because as soon as I noticed it, there was no unnoticing it. So, yeah, back to the Oklahoma University thing. Based on an examination of the graduate teaching assistant's prior grading standards and patterns, as well as the graduate teaching assistant's own statements related to this matter, it was determined that the graduating teaching assistant was arbitrary in the grading of the specific paper. No, the fuck they were not.
How were they arbitrary? They literally failed the assignment.
Yeah, they pointed out that, hey, you didn't do the assignment, and then they gave a grade that reflected that. I feel like that's not arbitrary.
Yeah, that's not arbitrary. That's just you failing.
So in the feedback, Kurth, that's the teaching assistant, had said that Fulnecki was entitled to her own beliefs, but that the psychology article was based on years of psychological research and evidence, not just society pushing lies. And what's being left out of this article is that a lot of the statements that Kurth was making came along with like, it's okay for you to say these things, but you need to cite sources to support what you're saying. You can't just say them.
Yeah, the argument was not, you said an offensive thing. Like, okay, you know that, I'm going to keep referencing random...
They did say that she said an offensive thing.
Right. But see, there's a specific callback I want to make here. Y'all seen Starship Troopers? Uh-huh. There is a moment where they're having a debate on TV about whether the bugs are intelligent and deserve rights. And one of the people...
I don't specifically remember that moment, but go on.
One of the people in the debate, there's two people in the debate, just went, I find the idea of a bug that thinks offensive. And they never gave an argument as to why it can't be the case. They simply said it offends them, and that's it. And that was basically framed as the winning argument, because that's the side that society lands on mostly in that movie. So the reason I bring that up is that's what the right wing seems to think, that when you say something's offensive, that's what like a liberal or a left wing person is doing. But that's not what was happening here.
Thank you, Olivia says, since less than half of you have liked the stream, Rhino only likes you half as much as you deserve.
Jesus Christ.
That's my favorite Lord of the Rings quote. I don't know half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve. And that is in both the book and the movie. However, I kind of like the movie version a little bit better, because Ian Holm fucking nails drunk Bilbo, especially when he says it's my 11th birthday and he kind of stutters over the 11th. Today is my 11th birthday. Like, I could never do it like he did it, but he did it and it was great. Or no, 111th is what he was saying, because I know it's 11th but he also said 111. He was like, "It's my 111th birthday," and he like kind of stumbled over the word a little bit in like the perfect way, and it was just like, mwah, perfect performance, no notes.
That's why the win condition for playing Bilbo in Magic the Gathering is getting 111 life.
Okay, yeah, that works. So you brought up Starship Troopers.
Yep.
And that made me think of, I think it's Starship Troopers 3. Like, have you seen 3?
I have only seen 1 and 2.
Oh, you haven't seen 3?
No. So
3 is a Christian movie.
After 2 was as weirdly horny for the bugs as it was, which I get.
I thought you were more of a snake man than a bug man, but there we go.
Look, I know what I'm about.
Oh, those
I like
legs.
paladin women. What's the difference between plate mail and chitin?
No, I was thinking Starship Troopers 3. They actually, like, that one, I don't know if it was written by, it was Edward Neumeier. Was that the same guy that did 1?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't think it was. That doesn't sound familiar. I really hope it's not the same guy because, yeah, Paul Verhoeven and... Oh, no, it was! Okay, writers were Edward Neumeier, and then Robert Heinlein got a credit because it shared the title, basically. So, yeah, written by the same guy. Holy shit. But directed by someone completely different. Well, directed by Edward Neumeier. I think Edward Neumeier thought that he was not writing satire. Because Starship Troopers 3, if you watch that, it like...
Is it just played straight?
Pretty much. Well, I mean, not really. There is a certain... There is still a bit of absurdity in it, but it is very much a Christian movie. But the main reason I brought it up is because it's got T'Pol from Star Trek Enterprise in it. She plays one of the main characters, and it is weird to see T'Pol on her knees with her hands together, praying to God to save her from the bugs. and then the Marauders come down behind the person that she was praying with, and in a halo, and it makes her look like an angel, and it's so fucking it's great. But like, it's a different kind of great from the first one. I don't know. Maybe it was still supposed to be satire, but it just seemed to be playing it straight more than the other ones. But yeah, I don't know.
Fair. I don't know. The whole reason that I brought it up, though, was that, like, technically, whether or not the character was in the right, they never gave any reason, and like any argumentation, nothing to support their stance. Just, I am offended, therefore thing. And that's basically what people will frame.
What's funny is that's what they've been accusing the left of for ages.
Yeah, that's what they frame it as. But the reality is, when we get offended, like, take the thing that happened with Cog earlier. I am offended that they came into the chat and did that. Not because they said anything particularly offensive. Absolutely not. I am offended that somebody would be such an unserious person. I'm not saying you have to take yourself seriously, but if the only thing you live for is going on the internet and making somebody else mad, I am offended that you have not taken steps to better your own life. I'm offended that you could have done better.
You are using up oxygen on this planet.
Yeah, when I breathe, there is a chance that oxygen was breathed by you, and that is repulsive to me. But it's repulsive because I think that people are projects. I think that people should always be trying to do better for themselves because you were born into a shitty fucking world. You deserve things being better for you.
You deserve health care. The people you vote for don't think you do. So maybe vote for other people.
Jessica says, offended that they're a bad faith actor. I'm offended that they're a bad faith actor, but not because it inconveniences me. I'm offended because it means that they are a type of person who is choosing to be substandard. In life, they are deliberately making the choice that does not help them later in life.
You're offended that they're wasting their life.
Yeah, basically.
It's like life is precious. It's the only one you got, and to waste it is just, it's sad.
Like, I don't want somebody to go on their deathbed and like the highlight of their life.
I had rage baited Cirrus one more time than I did.
Like, I don't want the highlight of somebody's life being like rage baiting a fucking rando on the internet. Like, go do something that is enjoyable. Go hang out with the homies. There's all kinds of things you could do that would be better for your mental health and just be fun as shit.
Yeah. So we do have to get back to the story before we move on to the next story, because it ties into the next one, but we have to read some of the statements. So the University of Oklahoma believes strongly in both its faculty's rights to teach with academic freedom and integrity, and its students' right to receive an education that is free from a lecturer's impermissible evaluative standards.
Wait, but the evaluative standards of the fucking professor is why you pay them. That's why you pay them.
Well, they're saying this particular person's standards were impermissible. Now, I'd say the standards were actually do the fucking assignment. I don't feel like that's impermissible. I think so. They didn't reproduce the full statement that they got from Oklahoma University, but I would assume that they are focused on the one spot in all the feedback where the person said that their paper was downright offensive in places because of what you were saying earlier. And this echoes like the Masterpiece Cake Shop decision, where like they said, oh yeah, Christians are allowed to discriminate, but the reason they ruled that way was because very clearly the plaintiffs in that case were like they were upset. They were acting out of malice or whatever. Like they weren't polite enough in their disagreement, essentially, is the reason that ruling went the way it did. And so this strikes me as one of those things where it's like, yeah, no, she didn't do the assignment and absolutely deserved 0, but because you said it was offensive, you get fired. Even though it was objectively offensive.
Like, the thing that pisses me off...
I feel like objectively offensive is a bit of a contradiction in terms, but...
The thing that pisses me off that is nonetheless true, it's a truism about society, is that people care less that you are correct or not. People care more about how you comported yourselves when you made your case. And I hate that, because I feel like that means that we put more weight on decorum than we do on fucking reality. But we do. Like, just as a society, we've done that for years. We don't care.
Mamdani addressed that in his speech. And then the hilarious thing about that was there was one statement where it's like, fuck, I'm going to have to pull it up. Continue. I will find my thing.
Okay. But it frustrates me that is the case, because the people who are more likely to get offended, like just from a statistical standpoint, are the people who are on the back foot. So, like, if you've got minorities in society, they're likely to be on the back foot. They are more likely to take offense at things. They are more likely to have an emotional reaction to things. That's not a good or bad thing. That's just an observation of people who are generally on the back foot in society. If those people are more likely to have to advocate for themselves more often, and also are more likely to fly off the handle because they're being put under constant pressure about, like, let's say they're trans and their medication might be taken away, they're Hispanic, their grandmother might have been taken away. Like, there's all kinds of reasons you could be on that emotional back foot. If you are not extra fucking careful with your language and everything, you'll get picked apart everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's not fair, and it's actually stupid.
So the Zoran Mandani quote, he said this in his inaugural address, was, "For too long, those fluent in the good grammar of civility have deployed decorum to mask agendas of cruelty." And that is an amazing quote.
Say it one more time.
"For too long, those fluent in the good grammar of civility have deployed decorum to mask the agendas of cruelty."
Yeah.
And what's amazing about that is that quote was brought to my attention by a guy named John Rentoul, who is a journalist, who posted that and was like, "Can anyone tell me what this bit means?" And what's great is he has a headline that demonstrates exactly what that means. The headline of an article that he wrote is, "Don't call Donald Trump a liar, even if he is one." Because you need to be...
You need
to have the decorum. You need to be civil.
And, like, the thing is, it's infuriating that it is true. Because in a normative world, decorum would matter much less than having the facts. Being correct would be more important than comporting yourself with, like, perfect tenor. But we don't value facts, we value decorum.
But also, it's a massive double standard, because decorum is only required of those on the left. If you're on the right, you can be a massive piece of shit in everything you do, and that's fine.
I think it's...
But as soon as you quote Charlie Kirk's own words when Charlie Kirk is murdered, oh, I can't believe you. I'm so offended.
Yeah, it's... God, it's the problem of evil is what it is more than anything. Like, I will say this. I do not think individual Republican voters are evil. I don't. I do not think most people who watch Republican media are evil. But I do think that most of the people who have power in the Republican Party fit the descriptor for evil. And likewise, I believe that most of the pundits who enable them also fit that description quite aptly. I, in no uncertain terms, have ever considered for a minute that somebody who is evil, in whatever way you want to measure that, does a lot of evil, therefore that's how we define them, the same way we would a murderer is somebody who does a murder, a rapist is somebody who does a rape. I do not find that side acting with hypocrisy or inconsistently is confusing in any way, shape, or form. I just find it to be expected. The villain does something in a story that is flagrantly bad. They're the villain. They're going to do the bad thing. And I hate that because it feels super black and white. It feels like a naive way to look at the world, because it is black and white thinking. But it also shows itself to be fucking true super often right now when it comes to the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the last quote that I wanted to get from this statement is, "We are committed to teaching students how to think, not what to think. The university will continue to review best practices to ensure that instructors have comprehensive training necessary to objectively assess their students' work without limiting their ability to teach, inspire, and elevate our next generation." To which I say bullshit. But that it's not directly related, but in a similar vein, that kind of leads us to our next story.
Oh boy.
Which is, Texas crackdown on teachers for posts about Charlie Kirk, union lawsuit says. So this was sent to me by E.T. Benson. Last one was sent to me by my anonymous source.
I thought freedom of speech was supposed to be freedom from the government cracking down on you for your speech. So why is the government cracking down on people for their speech? That's so weird. That's so strange. That feels like the one fucking thing that law that amendment is supposed to be for.
So this is where I almost want to tell Piper to like keep these two as the same one news item, because they're so closely related. Because like in the last one, it's a student being like, I need to be able to express my freedom of speech in my fucking assignment, where opinion is not supposed to be like, it's not about opinion, it's about citing sources to like use facts to support your opinion.
She didn't even cite the Bible.
And then in this case we have teachers being fired for saying not entirely nice things about Charlie Kirk, who deserves to have not entirely nice things said about him.
You know that scene from The West Wing that gets like reposted a billion times, where the lady tries to be all like, I don't have a problem with homosexuality, Mr. President, the Bible does, and then there's like an exchange where he like owns her.
So
I feel like people think that really happens in real life.
So that's actually when that journalist posted the Mamdani quote and was like, can anybody tell me what this means? I actually posted a video of mine as a response to that, which was I did a response to a guy from I want to say it was Impact 360 channel. I forget. But he was basically talking about how Christians should respond to Pride Month, and his answer was like, "Oh, we shouldn't get involved." And I'm like, "Motherfucker, you making this video is getting involved." And then he was talking about how like he actually like was talking about how like, oh, we have to be kind and have a smile and everything, but we can't condone the actions. Like, okay, spewing hateful rhetoric while smiling does not make it not hateful rhetoric.
Correct.
So, like,
tell it to Mike Winger.
Well, no, that's not what the video is about, but I'm working on a Mike Winger response. That's the one I recorded today, I think. Yeah, I think this Friday is a Disciples Wouldn't Die for a Live video, and the next one is Mike Winger. God damn it, that's what happens when I actually get on top of my work and get things done on time.
Mm-hmm.
Is that now I can't remember what video is coming out this Friday and which one's coming out next Friday.
Opposite of me. I am behind on everything on all 3 of the channels I upload to. Hello.
Yeah, Olivia Williams says, a reminder that Charlie Kirk had a website to harass teachers opposing academic freedom. Yeah, he did. So this teachers union is suing the school board for basically trying to curtail the teacher's freedom of speech. At least one teacher has already been fired and several more under investigation for having posted things related to Charlie Kirk. And like, here's the thing. I feel like it's very situationally dependent. Like, if they're on their own private social media that the students have no business checking, say whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. But like, if it's in a situation where their students would be expected to see the post, then behave a bit more civilly. But like, I have no problem saying that Charlie Kirk's death did not break me up at all. I kind of chuckled at the way it happened. It seemed fitting.
My only problem with it is that I do not want to live in a world where we expect that to be a thing that happens to speakers.
Yeah, no, I thought the irony of the situation was funny, and I am not sad that Charlie Kirk is gone.
He lost the gun debate.
Yep, absolutely. And the fact that he died while in the middle of a racist screed is just, it's emblematic of what he stood for. And I do not apologize for these opinions. And if I were a teacher, I would not post these opinions somewhere where I expected my students to be able to see them. If I were a teacher, I probably would not talk about it like I do on this podcast. Is this a podcast? Video?
Functionally,
live stream?
Podcast.
Whatever the fuck we do here. I wouldn't talk about it as freely if I were a teacher. However, I would probably still have posted it somewhere. So like, there is a certain amount of personal discretion, and like, you have to be willing to be held accountable for things that you have said publicly. And
yeah,
that's the thing. I am willing to be held accountable for things I've said publicly. That's why, like, and it makes me laugh when I hear people on the right talk about how, like, oh no, it's so hard navigating cancel culture stuff now. Like, you have to be so careful about what you say. It's like, I'm not careful about jack shit. And do you know how I get away with it? By not being a bad person. And when I fuck up, I own it. If I say something legitimately offensive and bad, and it gets pointed out to me, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I won't do that again. It's fucking easy.
With very rare exception, I say about as much online as I want to say. And I don't seem to get in too much trouble for it unless, like, unless somebody who really wants to be, like, offended for a career gets mad. That's the only time that I've really had too much issue.
Yeah, and we're both part of the Creator Accountability Network, so if we say something that really fucking hurts in some way, you let them know, and they'll come to us and be like, hey, you fucked up. And have you been through that process yet? Have you actually had someone complain about you?
No.
Oh, it's happened to me like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, I
And
haven't gotten anything from them that I can remember.
so I was early enough in that I was actually I give them feedback on how they do things, and part of it was like there were a lot of things that were like, you've gotten a complaint because of this, but we've looked into it by ourselves and we don't think it's actually an issue. And my feedback on that was like, it's stressful just seeing the subject line that like there's an investigation. So like I'd rather not even hear about those. So it might be that you have received complaints and they took my feedback and were like, okay, we don't need to tell them about every little thing if we've determined that there's nothing there. But I've actually gone through I've gone through the entire arbitration process.
Ah,
For one, not it's not arbitration. That's the wrong word, but I don't know what else to call it. But yeah, basically just don't be a shitty person. Be willing to learn from your mistakes, and you don't get canceled. Anyway,
let me see.
yeah.
I
So
don't think I've gotten anything other than like learn about the accountability network. Like those are most of the emails that I get
well,
from them.
they're doing a fundraiser tomorrow that I unfortunately couldn't be a part of because tomorrow's my kid's birthday. So sorry.
Hmm.
I probably should have responded to the email, but I didn't because I'm bad at emails. Fuck, I have like 11 unread messages on my Patreon right now. I should probably read those. Those are people that pay my bills. I'm so bad at my job. I'm so sorry, guys. Anyway, so yeah, the state clearly demonstrated that it's trying to police speech that offends Morath, who is the guy who is making these decisions, because it hasn't given similar directives after mass shootings or other violence, such as the killing of actor-director Rob Reiner. So that's the thing that kind of really caught me here, is that like you can't say bad things about Charlie Kirk, but you can say bad things about Rob Reiner. Like,
Yeah,
what is like? How are we supposed to know how we're supposed to comport ourselves in public?
I think the better thing to do, honestly, is to just not care. If somebody takes offense and they can clearly articulate why this is a problem unique to other situations, cool. If they choose not to do that, I dismiss them.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Unfortunately, in this
I've
case, the people being dismissed are the teachers who posted about Charlie Kirk, but not the ones who posted about Rob Reiner. But yeah, that's about all I have to say about that. Next up, we have. This was also sent to me by an anonymous source. This is a tabloid headline, but I'm not sure it's entirely wrong. So like the headline is not completely accurately representing the situation. Thank you for the hats, Content 83.
So Canada seeks to poach U.S. talent turned away by Trump's pricey visas with massive new initiative.
Yeah. So that is going to be the effect. It would not surprise me at all if that was the intended effect. But nobody has actually come out and said, like, nobody from the government and no actually official news source has been like, hey, this is why we are doing it. But it does track. So there's a we just launched a $1.7 billion initiative designed to well, it says to poach U.S. talent that has been turned off by President Trump's new $100,000 H-1B visa program. Basically, we're going to get them first because we're not charging you $100,000. In fact, we are paying you to come here because we recognize that having highly educated, talented people in your country doing their jobs is very good for your country. So instead of being like, hey, you need to pay us $100,000 to come here, we will pay you because it's just good.
That sounds fantastic.
Uh-huh. Prime Minister Mark Carney. Let's give credit to who it's due. It's Melanie Joly. French name, so like Melanie Joly. Sure. I'm not actually good at French pronunciation despite being Canadian, but she's the Minister of Industry. So they announced that it'll invest 1.7 billion over 12 years. So the over 12 years is kind of played down here. So it's not a whole lot per year, all things considered. But it's to recruit workers in like scientific research fields and healthcare, stuff like that. High skilled workers. So Canada's new initiative will offer $1 billion in funds. So it's $120 million for early career researchers, $400 million for infrastructure researchers, and $133 million for training, and $1 billion for world leading researchers. So not necessarily a direct response to the H-1B $100,000 thing.
But it's effectively that.
If someone is a researcher in Sweden and they were looking into upending their life to come to North America because they could make more money, they're now like, I either have to take out a loan to pay $100,000 to move to the States, or I can move to Canada and they'll pay me. Which do you think they're going to do?
I'd say just Canada. If it's more money coming to you and you get to be in a place that isn't as shitty.
And our healthcare is closer to Europe's than the States is. It's not a great healthcare system by any stretch of the imagination, but it's miles better than the American one.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Yeah. Before Trump got into his second term, my partner and I, we were in Colorado for a friend's wedding a little while ago, and as we were like bumming around Colorado, we were looking like, you know, she was in school at the time, and her career is just kind of ramping up.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if it gets to the point where like she's in a career where she could make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so we were like, it'd be nice to have a vacation home. Just dream. We're still in the just dreaming stages. This is not something that's like anywhere close to actually happening. But like, it was a consideration that like, hey, Colorado's a beautiful place. Maybe we could buy like one of those houses that's like right on the cliffside there. And this would be a great place to come and just live a couple months out of the year. And that we haven't discussed it, but I guarantee you it's off the table right now. Until you guys fix your shit, that ain't happening.
Yeah. So, is there
Jess, I assume
more
you're in Colorado?
We're a great state. We have our problems. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was good. We had a fun time there. We so we went to the friend's wedding. It was in Boulder, I think. No, Colorado Springs, something like that. I don't remember, but we went there. Had a good time. After the wedding, we spent a few days just like touring around ourselves. We went to the Garden of the Gods. Beautiful place. But yeah, not going there again anytime soon. The Springs, because you did a video at the Garden of the Gods. Yeah, I did. Jesus was at the Garden of the Gods. I opened my phone up and the Wi-Fi networks popped up that were available to connect to, and one of them was Jesus. Like Jesus's phone or something. Colorado Springs, yeah, we drove past the folks in the family office. And we gave him the middle finger as we drove by. But, yeah. America's got some beautiful, beautiful places that I will never see. Because of Trump.
Hip hip hooray.
Okay. Last one, we're gonna end. I try to always end on a high note. And we're going back to 1 million moms. This just came in. This just came in today. They have a new petition up for the Nature Valley ad that came out. Now, Nature Valley this is the first company that I've seen them try and boycott that I actually am a regular consumer of their products.
Mm-hmm.
Like we buy Nature Valley granola bars for the kids all the damn time. They love them. Very crumbly granola bars, but very good. So I was kind of happy to see this. So before we even get to it, I have the ad. Available. I'm going to play the ad.
Sure.
Make sure the volume's all the way up. See if you can figure out what their problem is with it.
Creamy peanut butter and whole grain wafers.
And we're eating old damp nuts.
Whoops. Nature Valley, we make nature delicious.
Is it that there are talking animals and that's bad in the Bible?
No.
Is it that they're black?
No.
All right, I've exhausted the two things I can think of.
Okay. Nature Valley offends conservative parents.
Did they say damp nuts?
They said damp nuts.
They said the words damp nuts, and that pissed.
How? Okay. What about that pisses them off, do you think?
Because it sounds like genitals?
No, that's not it.
The fuck is it then?
Okay. Nature Valley offends conservative parents in one of his latest marketing campaigns, which 1 million moms have received complaints regarding a Nature Valley ad, which included insinuated profanity. Did you catch the insinuated profanity?
These damn nuts.
Yeah, that's it. That's their problem.
They insinuated that they might have...
Two squirrels perch on a tree branch above them, eating acorns. Enviously, one of the squirrels declares, "And we're eating old damp nuts." It obviously does not sound like damp, though.
That's the joke, you dumbasses!
Well, I mean, so here's the thing, though, like...
Whole grain wafers.
And we're eating old damp nuts.
Like, he emphasized the P. Like, it's not just old damp nuts. It's old damp nuts.
Yeah.
He put extra emphasis on that P, which makes the next sentence fucking hilarious. Of course, the implied word is easily identified. Viewers would have to read closed captions to determine if it's not profanity.
How?
Neither of us heard it as damn when we heard...
Even if it was profanity, who fucking cares? I'm so sorry, but
damn is a perfectly acceptable. I've heard commercials that just straight up say damn. They wouldn't need
I live in the Georgia South. You hear damn every Sunday from the guy who throws his fucking watch off his wrist and lets you know that, by the way, not only is the potluck gonna fucking suck, but you're stuck here for another 2 hours because your parents don't have the balls to say they're bored.
Anyway, I've decided I'm going to sign this petition. First name, Dees. Last name, Nuts. Email address, dees.nuts@gmail.com. Zip code, let's say 14204. That's somewhere in Buffalo. I don't fucking know. And please add me to the 1 million moms email list because I'm sure someone has deesnuts@gmail.com. There was a problem. What? No. Welcome back. Please resubmit your form. Oh, yeah, welcome black. Oh, there's a ad server. Oh, there's a.
And all you have are these damp nuts.
You know what? It might be because I'm using Firefox. It might not like Firefox because there is a CAPTCHA thing down there that I can't actually see. So I am trying again. You guys can't. Well, you know what? I can move it up here and then. Oop, nope. That's not how that works. There we go. Turn you back on.
It's just religion and you're not specific. There's a problem that a lot of just general atheists have, and that we live in the West. So the religion we usually deal with are the Abrahamic faiths.
I successfully signed as D's nuts.
Cool. But we usually deal with the Abrahamic faiths more than anything. And as a result, we view everything through the frame of, well, the Abrahamic faiths do this, or our version of the Abrahamic faiths do this. Therefore, that must be what all religion does. And I don't think that's super accurate. Because, I don't think I've heard that many people who are, say, Wiccan get infantilized in the same way.
Just a second, I have to send an urgent message.
Okay.
So entertain the stream for a sec.
Sure. Did you guys know that damp nuts are bad? Did you guys know that? A bunch of squirrels told me. And I don't like squirrels, but I feel like I have to respect their opinions, because otherwise I'll get canceled on x.com or twitter.net or elon.gov or whatever the fuck it is these days. Justin says damn is in the Bible. Yeah, so is rape. Great for kids. Fantastic for children. Mr. Malachite says, so are genitals? Yeah, and emissions. You see, when you do an emissions test on a car, you're trying to see if you have to pay an extra $20 today. If you do an emissions test on a horse, you're just trying to see if it's biblically accurate.
Okay. Don't listen to those damp squirrels.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right, so that's it for news. What's funny about that is like you are like I showed this to my partner, or like I talked to my partner about this, and she also, like, after seeing the ad, was like, I don't know, are they like, she also pegged it as like, oh, they're talking about nuts, so maybe it's a genitals thing. It's like 2 for 2 on people that are perfectly fine being massively offensive for what 1 million moms would consider offensive, and completely missing what they actually found offensive about this ad.
Yeah.
All right. So, crack open my last beer before we move on to the tweets. My poor partner. She just took the ice machine up again today after it had been off for like a month. So we sent it through the cleaning cycle with like some cleaning solution in it, and then rinsed it out good and everything. And this is the first batch of ice, and I stole all the ice for keeping my beers cold on stream.
Aha. Wasn't there a brief period where you stopped drinking on stream?
Yeah. I mean, so I've gotten a lot better at not drinking. So the reason I stopped drinking on stream was because I would always make sure to have beer in the house so that I would have it for the stream. And then I would just drink it when not on stream, and then have to go buy more for the stream. And I think I've gotten pretty good at just not having beer in the house. So yeah, I'm not going teetotaler, but I am trying to not drink as much as I used to. And on stream is like where I'm allowed to.
Okay.
Not that I'm not allowed to otherwise, but you know what I mean.
So you're a social drinker.
Yes, but only when I'm social with you who doesn't drink.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like my partner, she will use marijuana to help her fall asleep and deal with some nausea things that she has. And every now and then she'll be like, I need to stop because I feel like I'm becoming dependent on it. And then it like turns out like, oh no, she's not chasing the high at all. Like there's absolutely zero desire for the high, although she is fucking hilarious when she's high. But like she doesn't crave it when she's not on it. It's just like, oh, I can't fall asleep. But if I smoke a bit, I'll be able to go to sleep. So.
Okay.
Yeah. We are cognizant of the risks of substance abuse, and we take steps to prevent ourselves from it. And sometimes we are a little bit goofy about that.
Well, on the topic of substance abuse, what tweet do we have today?
We have BQM. So wait, where are the tweets? Where are the tweets? Retweet. I am off my
Rockin' Robin. Tweet. Rockin' Robin.
Oh, let's just listen to that song instead of doing the tweets. That'd be so much more pleasant.
I used to do swing dancing to it.
I want to take salsa lessons with my partner, but we just don't have fucking time for it.
That's fair.
Dancing is actually fun, but I can't go to a club and dance. There needs to be a dance with moves. I have to know the steps. It's like when I know the steps, it can be fun. When I don't know the steps, no, I dance like a white guy.
There are plenty of sensible, non-supernatural explanations for Marian apparitions.
So this is how you're telling me you don't want to hear about my fucking dance and get back on topic. Thanks, Cirrus. Thanks for that.
There are zero non-supernatural explanations for the resurrection.
Yeah. So
you have to prove that shit happened first.
Well, I used to think this was in the middle of like an argument between Catholics and Protestants about like whether the resurrection has more evidence or whether a bunch of Marian apparitions have more evidence. And of course the Protestants are like, no, obviously the resurrection has more evidence. But then the Catholics are like, but there's video recordings of people who saw the miracle of the sun. You don't have video recordings from anything regarding Jesus' resurrection.
But the Bible says so.
So it might. This is one of those situations where I just like sit back with my popcorn and be like, let them fight. Because this is a point that I have made several times in my videos is like, hey, if you believe in the resurrection based on this lackluster evidence, why do you not also believe in the appearance of the Virgin Mary at Fatima? Like, why? Because why aren't you Catholic? Because that is clearly got way more evidence than anything. Like, because they'll be like, oh, but there were 500 witnesses though. Like, okay, there were tens of thousands of witnesses to the Our Lady of Fatima thing, and several of them gave video testimony to it that you can go and look up on YouTube right now that I'm playing in my video for you. So why don't you believe that shit if you believe Paul said there were 500 people that he didn't even name?
And, there were 500 of them.
Yeah. So yeah, and then I will give my response to the Mary thing is that like, okay, well the Fatima thing is like a bunch of people got together and all stared into the sun and then saw weird shit because they stared into the sun, because you see weird shit when you damage your retinas. But then it's like, okay, if staring at the sun and then seeing weird shit is enough to convince literally tens of thousands of people that they saw a miracle, why would you not think that the Jesus appearing to 500 people, even if that happened, like, I don't think that actually happened, but assuming it did happen, why would we assume that wasn't something similar to a bunch of people stared in the sun together and then saw some weird shit and decided that it was a miracle? Because we have precedent for that being a thing that is a miracle. Like, thousands of people were convinced that it was a miracle because they stared in the sun and saw weird shit. Why couldn't 500 people have stared into the sun, saw some weird shit, and said that's a miracle? What's the difference?
There is none, but when your entire belief structure relies only on one thing, and is repeated constantly amongst Protestants, is that the only thing that matters is believing in the resurrection. That is the one thing that gets you to heaven.
Well,
do you believe in Christ as your
depending
Savior?
on what
and that He died for
denomination
your
you are,
sins?
because some of them will say that the Catholic Church is actually the mark of the beast. Like, they are the beast of Revelation. So you can believe in the resurrection, but if you're Catholic, that's devil worship. Content 83 says, I prefer Gary worship, whose holy merch can be bought at merch.vicerandom.com.
Yay!
And then Sean Helfin redeemed a hat, so I'm changing hat. Yeah. Get the deer stalker. Sean says Gary. No, I did Gary earlier today. I don't repeat hats in the same stream.
Wait, you did Gary earlier today?
I did, yes.
My!
You remember the time when I showed my desktop and was like, oh shit, I might have to censor that because the icons are visible and there's some like explicit fan art of me and Gary.
So. I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. So yeah, there are plenty of sensible non-supernatural explanations for marionette. Wait, I don't know why I'm reading this again. We've already dealt with this. Moving on. Divinely Designed said, if the theory of evolution was falsifiable, competing hypotheses, i.e. creation, would be taken seriously and compared against it. They were, and they failed.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the reason that intelligent design and creationism are not viable is that they are not falsifiable. We have no mechanism for disproving that a random deity decided that on his lunch break he was going to make the humans. Like, we have no way of saying whether that is true or untrue.
Jess,
so it's better
ID
dismissed.
is short for intelligent design. God did it, essentially, is ID. ID is the same as creation. They just don't want you to think it's the same as creation because they're trying to cloud it in the veneer of science without actually making it scientific.
There actually was not even a delineation, but when intelligent design, or which one was first, intelligent design or creationism, in terms of like the terms that we used most of the time.
Creationism, I think, came first. Intelligent design was mostly a response to the courts having firmly stated
saying
that creationism wasn't allowed. So they'd be like, oh, well, intelligent design is a scientific thing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to point out, is that like the reason that we even have the two terms to begin with, despite them meaning the same thing, is because they decided it was strategically viable to say, well, the court said this thing about our last word, so we made up a different word that meant the same thing so that we could continue fighting for bullshit.
Yeah, essentially. But yeah, no, so now you say that intelligent design and creationism is unfalsifiable. I disagree, because it depends on what version of creationism you hold to. The ones that, the most common version is young Earth creationism. That one is falsifiable.
Young Earth creationism is falsifiable,
it's
yes.
100% falsifiable. As soon as you carbon date something to more than 6,000 years old, it's been falsified. As soon as you find a tree that is 10,000 years old, it has been falsified. As soon as you find a clonal organism that is 80,000 years old, it has been falsified.
So let me be more specific. There's a reason why I specifically said the idea that there was a god at some point that did this thing is unfalsifiable, is because that's the larger claim of creationism.
Yeah, but that's Francis Collins creationism. I'm fine with Francis Collins creationism, where it's like, we use science to figure out how God did what he did. And science points to the Earth being old, evolution being true, the Big Bang happening, and all that shit. Like, you want to stuff God into the unknowns there? Fine, go for it.
But that concept being unfalsifiable is why I basically just dismiss it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. There is no way to determine that is untrue. That is not the same thing as determining that it is true. Mm-hmm. From a pragmatic point of view, once we've gotten to that point, we just stop caring anymore.
So we agree with different words, essentially.
Yes. We aggressively agree with one another.
Yes. Correct.
I love it when that happens.
Senator John Fetterman says,
oh boy.
Less than a year ago, President Biden upped the Maduro bounty to $25 million. Removing Maduro was positive for Venezuela. As a Democrat, I don't understand why we can't acknowledge a good development for Venezuelans and how deft our military's execution of that plan was. You killed a bunch of civilians in the execution of that plan, my dude.
From what I understand, it was 80 of them,
yeah,
right?
Like that doesn't sound deft. That sounds kind of inept, if you ask me. How long do you think it'll be before Fetterman actually officially moves to the Republican Party?
The thing is, I don't think he's going to, because he views himself not as an independent, but as a person who serves independents. And he's made that very clear, where he's like, I don't serve the Democratic Party, I serve the people.
I think he's gonna flip.
Okay. I don't feel like betting on it, only because I don't have enough money to bet on it.
Well, I was gonna try and do like a non-monetary bet, like if I win.
Oh, well, what's the non-monetary bet? I'm willing to do that.
If I win, you suck my dick. If you win, I suck your dick.
I am not attracted to you, so I'm not going to suck your dick.
Attraction doesn't matter.
It does to me. I'm Demi. If I don't have
it doesn't to me. Shit. I'm whatever the fuck we decided I am.
Wild, anyway.
Yeah, no. I don't understand why we can't acknowledge a good development for Venezuelans. So even if it works out perfectly for Venezuela, and this was actually the best thing for them, the way it was done is blatantly illegal. It violates international law. It violates American law. It's just, there's no world in which that was the right way to go about doing it.
Also, it didn't change anything.
Also, I don't care what Biden did.
Maduro's vice president that he brought on is the one in power now.
Venezuela's J.D. Vance is in power.
The infrastructure is still exactly as it was. What has fundamentally changed other than the name? I feel like this is the most naive child take on anything, because this is if we just get Trump out of office, we'll solve the problem with the modern day Republican Party. No, the fuck we won't. No, the fuck we won't. It's a cancer that has been created and grown in a vat. You don't solve the problem just by getting rid of the figurehead. There's a reason they're called a figurehead in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My God.
It's like regime changes are a bad thing, and you guys didn't even get to that level.
Like, I'm not even on the board with regime changes being a bad thing. I'm actually not on board with that because the United States fundamentally was a regime change. Like our history is one of a forced regime change.
Okay, but that forced regime change was political violence, which everybody condemns nowadays.
And I also think that that's a naive take. Not from you, but when somebody goes like, I think it's a naive take when somebody goes, I am against political violence. Okay, cool. Then how do you feel about police existing? How do you feel about having a standing military? How do you feel about the death penalty? How do you feel about cutting off funds for people's lunches? Every one of those, to varying degrees, is an act of violence that is carried out through politics. They are all political violence. Every fucking one of them. Whenever somebody's like, I'm not in favor of political violence, then you must be anti-police, like completely anti-law enforcement. And you know what? If that's your take, then congratulations, you have a position that you can stand on.
The libertarians have entered the chat.
Jesus Christ.
Not even gonna touch that. Okay, this is a funny thing that happened. So we all know that Grok has been doing
child up for debate.
Grok has been doing child porn recently, and that's a bad thing.
There are 6,000 pornographic images generated per hour from Grok minimum right now.
Yeah, and a good chunk of those are child porn, and it's hella problematic. But this was a thing that Grok did that actually made me chuckle. It didn't make me chuckle in a way that makes it worth all the energy that it wasted to do it. But so this person posted, said, remove the traitor from this photo, Grok. And Grok's response was to remove Trump. So that is amusing to me. I do find that amusing. I'd still rather live in a world where Grok did not exist. But yeah, that was funny.
Oh boy, the United States, as of today, is considering leaving the United Nations.
I mean,
who would have fucking thought?
Withdrawing the United States from international organizations, conventions, and treaties that are contrary to the interests of the United States. Okay, so when does Canada just, like, decide to bomb the U.S.?
Like, I'm just...
we need to institute a regime change in the U.S. Let's send the military in to arrest Trump.
And you know what? You can't even say that that's a bad thing to do because Americans would celebrate it.
Yeah, a lot of them
would.
A
non-zero amount of Americans would celebrate that happening. So everybody that's just like, no, it's okay that Trump did that in Venezuela. Look, I'm gonna say right now, I do not know all the specifics where Venezuela is concerned. I am not an expert in that. But I also believe with all of my chest that every fucking person being loud as shit about this learned everything they did about Venezuela within the last fucking week.
Yeah.
So I'm on stable footing with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the hydrate, Anselin.
All right. Well, Matt Walsh.
Oh boy.
Says, as a general rule, grown men should not go to therapy. Most therapists are liberal women who couldn't possibly have any useful advice to give them. Therapists are not there to give you advice.
No,
therapists are there to let you
tools.
work through your shit. Give you tools to make your life better.
So I have a friend who I'm not going to name. Not that anybody in my stream would know who this person is anyway. But I had a conversation with them about like the shit that was going wrong in their life. And they said, wow, you've given me more information than my therapist did. And I'm just like, there are bad therapists. There are. Those exist. I'm not going to deny that. But I'm also going to say that as somebody who's gone to therapy, my therapist didn't tell me what to do.
No.
My therapist didn't give me advice. My therapist
that is explicitly
gave me tools.
Not what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, my therapist gave me tools for how to operate better in a situation. Didn't give me any advice on how to make my situation better. Didn't give me any advice on how to fix things, because that is not their purview. They do not have that kind of information, that kind of insight, nor that kind of expertise on what goes on in your brain. They can, however, give you the tools so that you, who does have that information, can make a better assessment. That is their job.
Yeah, 100%. He goes on to say, most people who go to therapy are also women. That's because sitting around and talking about your feelings is inherently feminine. Counterpoint, It's because assholes like you stigmatize going to therapy for men.
Yeah, I'll say going to therapy for most people is generally positive. There are moments in your life where you might not realize you have unprocessed trauma and you have reactions to situations that are compulsive, impulsive, something that you may not even like think about. It's just on the subconscious level that you don't realize you're doing because nobody wants to address it with you. And one of the reasons you might not realize it is because you haven't processed any of that shit. But guess what can give you the tools to process that shit? A therapist.
Yep.
Tell you what, Matt, I think Matt Walsh should go to therapy about this opinion.
I mean, I'm a little bit biased. My partner is a therapist, so
yeah,
I'm kind of biased here. It's actually kind of annoying because she like keeps on doing like therapy stuff whenever there's like disagreement in the house, and like, motherfucker, how can you be so like calm and collected and reasonable about this? Stop it.
Because they're just processing big emotions right now.
So much of therapy is just gentle parenting.
That's what we call a big emotion.
Have you seen there's a content creator who she'll like do the gentle parenting thing, but like with other people being Trump supporters or whatever?
No,
like,
I haven't.
Catch a bubble. No, we that is an inside thought. We do not talk that way about other people that we do not like. And like she just talks that way.
What are you talking about? I just think the liberals should fucking die.
But like responding to right-wing talking points, it's hilarious. It's great. That's actually where I learned the catch a bubble thing. I'd never heard that before, but like I kind of like it. Catch a bubble for shut the fuck up. Anyway, moving on. Philippe Antoine Hoyek says, fun fact, 90% of people have an IQ that falls below the median.
They can't. That is actually impossible.
No. Cyrus, read it carefully. He used his words very intentionally. It falls below the median. So you know what the median is, right? It's just the middle point between two numbers.
Yeah.
So I actually looked this up. The highest IQ ever to be recorded was 228, and the lowest IQ to ever be recorded was 40. And the median for that is 134, which if you get an IQ of 134, that puts you in the absolute highest bracket of all the IQ tests. So yes, most people do have an IQ below the median because one person had a freakishly high IQ.
And we'll never have anybody with that IQ ever again because of lead in the air.
Yeah. I mean, IQ doesn't even
not that IQ
work.
doesn't. Not that IQ means anything.
No, it doesn't. But also, like, it gets readjusted all the time so that like 100 is the average. So like, this doesn't even, because like the person that got the 228, that was like in the 1930s or something, and the test is no longer the same, and the like there's so much wrong with this. So much wrong with like.
Ravi says, not how medians work. You have to order the numbers. So Ravi's a math teacher, so I'm interested to see the response from Ravi here.
I don't know. I just typed those two numbers into Google and was like, find the median. And it was like, median is 138. Or 134. Sorry. I thought the median was just the middle point between two numbers. Like in a data set, the one that's right in the middle is the median. And so, like, the average can be lower than the median, like mean, median, and mode, and all that, right? Right? It's been a long time since high school math. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
I guess
my IQ ain't high enough to make me right.
So Naki has it correct in Rhino's chat. I'm not looking in Rhino's chat, so I don't know what Naki said in Rhino's chat.
That's not how the median works. Median is literally the middle number of a data set. The data set being 1, 2, 3, 6, 6, 7, 100. The median is 6. Okay, sure, but I would assume that someone has gotten all of the. Okay, no, I didn't want to do enough work to get that.
All of the people who actually study math are just like, Rhino, no.
Okay,
Rhino.
But I mean, so many people have taken IQ tests over the years that surely most of them would like have one of the numbers in between 40 and whatever the fuck the highest one
Yeah,
was.
old Gus is pointing out that median is influenced by all of the numbers in the sequence, not just the back end and the top end.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm too low IQ to figure this one out. My IQ is below the median. I'm sorry.
This man's apologizing for being too low IQ. I think you should be apologizing for being too low T.
Hey, according to low T, look at all my hair. I still have all my hair, so I probably am low T.
Yeah.
Cirrus, though, it's fucking high T over there. It's going to be bald and completely bald in another 2 years. Although I did have, there's a patch of my beard, like, fell out, like, right here. There's, like, a little tiny patch of skin that is, like, baby bottom smooth. And I don't know why that is. I have a doctor's appointment to discuss it.
Yeah, that sounds like something that would scare me a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, from Googling, which I'm sure all doctors love to hear their patients do, it's probably a pretty harmless autoimmune disorder that just, like, your immune system attacks some hair follicles for no apparent reason. But if that is the case, I want to know it, because if that is the case, then I'm at higher risk for certain other things.
I don't know. I had to correct a pharmacist the other day about Sudafed.
I mean, it's just meth, right?
So, but they did not know that Sudafed PE, like the Sudafed that you can get not over the counter, they didn't know that stuff doesn't work. Like, the FDA released a statement 3 years ago saying that Sudafed PE doesn't work.
So until you said 3 years ago, my response was going to be like, the FDA says a lot of things, man. I don't trust it anymore.
No. 3 years ago they said that doesn't work because the decongestant in Sudafed PE works when it's topically applied, like Vicks Vapor Rub or some shit, but it does not work when ingested. And notably, Sudafed is an ingestible pill.
Yeah.
So Sudafed PE, the actual decongestant in it, which is also the decongestant that's in, like, Dayquil, that decongestant does nothing.
Entertain the people. I gotta pee.
Okay, cool. Whereas if you have actual Sudafed, the active ingredient in that does work when ingested. They are both decongestants, but one of them only works when it's in a vapor rub, when it's topically applied. The other one works when it's ingested. The one that works when it's ingested can also be used to brew a bunch of other, like, really illicit drugs. So you have to give your ID, and you have to go and, do all that shit to get it from behind the counter if you want to get it. So they were just like, oh, but people buy it all the time. Like, yeah, you're a pharmacist. No, like, knowing drugs is your job. No. Please, no. And obviously I didn't do it like that. I didn't act like an asshole there, but that was my thought there. It was like, I know this is recent information, but it is information that is prolific enough that I would assume that somebody who works in that field would know it. Sparrowfan says, isn't that a popular opinion fallacy? Or, I mean, yes, technically. I forget what the actual word for it is. A lot of people believe a thing, therefore. Argumentum ad populum, that's what it was. Argumentum ad populum. Agamotto says, what about Vicks Formula 44? I don't know fucking specifics. Don't even. I am not the pharmacist who's supposed to know this shit.
But what about Tylenol cold and sinus? Do you know all the ins and outs of that one?
No, I don't. I knew the thing about Sudafed.
Probably has some acetaminophen in it, being that Tylenol is usually
that explains why I like Magic the Gathering cards so much.
Oh.
I had so much acetaminophen.
So here's the thing. Trains are cool, but it's mostly about the wheels.
Are they really good?
I don't care about the rest of it, but, like, the motion of, like, the bar thing that goes across all the wheels and turns them all at the same, that's fucking cool. And the gears that make that happen, it's amazing. Love it. Trains themselves, can take them or leave them. Give me the gear mechanisms.
I'm not gonna lie, as much as I don't care for trains specifically, the idea of having, like, a 20-foot by 20-foot room in the house where I just, like, build a giant fucking model train set and make a little city, like, designed to my own specifications, that shit sounds rad as fuck.
Yeah, Circe designs a better public transit system than anything in the States, just for his little train city.
Look, if acetaminophen caused autism, Tylenol would be prescribed to the fucking transportation department, and we would fix it in a week.
Yeah. Panuia says, why is it bad as a white person to say that you want to live around other white people? Why is that bad? Without saying more racism. Why it's bad is because of your racism.
Well, but we can do this without saying racism. We can. We're better rhetoricians than most of the people on the right. So let's actually flex those muscles real quick. Why is it bad as a white person to say you want to live around other white people? Let's start by asking a different question. Why is it that you would rather live around other white people? Are there any specific traits that you believe they have that other people lack that is integral to that is like intrinsic to their whiteness? Do you believe that there are traits intrinsic to whiteness that make them better predisposed to be your neighbors? If you believe that, now you have to start justifying why you have a problem with every single made-up fucking race on the planet. I didn't have to call you racist, but you 100% will say something weird as shit about barbecues.
Yeah, but also diversity is strength. Like,
yeah, that is a truism, but like, then you have to justify that one.
Life is just fucking better when there's more people with differing opinions and upbringings and cultures. It's more interesting. It's richer. It's just better.
No, I can agree with that. Ninjas, thank you for gifting out 3 community subs. Like, I think my world is better, generally speaking, when there are more people who have different lived experiences around me that can enrich the culture I live in, rather than my culture being like this one homogenous thing forever.
Yeah, like one of my neighbors, he's Serbian, which I know is another type of white, but like we just pop into his backyard every couple weeks in the summer and he's barbecuing something with like he's got his own like spice mix that he does and everything, and he makes really good food, and we just go hang out in his backyard and enjoy barbecue. We've got much better neighbors than we used to.
Fair. Fair.
Yeah. Although, funnily enough, YouTube short that I saw. Do you know the Italian guys who like they'll watch people make Italian food and they'll be like criticizing it?
Approved.
Yeah, approved. Yeah, those guys. So there was one where
not approved.
There was one where like some lady, it was clearly rage bait, but she like made some ugly looking English dish. It was like,
yeah, what
country has better food than England? And then they're just sitting in their car and they bring out their list from like Albania, Algeria, it just goes through the list alphabetically. It fast forwards through a bunch of it and then like ends with the Zs. And yeah, no, it's pretty great. So like, yeah, no, cultural like diversity is a good thing and it's amazing. And like, that's one of the things I love about traveling is trying the food and experiencing it, like looking at the art, experiencing the culture. It's great. Mm-hmm. Like, why would I want everyone to just be like me? That's boring. I'm a boring person.
I did see somebody who made a video recently that like got angry at a bunch of liberals. This person was like further left ostensibly, but they got angry at a bunch of liberals because they said that, oh, well, the reason that shitlibs want there to be more diversity is because they want better restaurant access. They want better restaurants. And I'm just like,
I mean, that's not the reason.
I'm just like,
it's not the only reason.
I don't think that that's a shitty reason. Like having access to other cultures' foods. I think of the reasons to want other cultures around you, that's not a shitty one. Yeah, because like, it's celebrating an aspect of that culture. That an aspect of that culture is the food. That's not a bad thing. Yeah, sure, like, there should be other reasons, but like the better thing to do would be explain to these people why their reason is not enough or some shit. It sounds so weird. When it's worded like completely condescendingly.
A food is just an aspect of the culture, but like
correct.
It's part of what makes it a rich experience. Like,
Stop says the Mulan man will yell at you if you don't wash your rice. Hey, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? I don't wash my rice.
neither do I.
I put it in the rice cooker with MSG and vinegar, and it comes out fantastic. And I have a bag of day-old rice in the fridge ready for me to make some banging beef fried rice. And I have a Thai red curry, and I have a bunch of Japanese golden curry, all food prepped in the freezer, all the exact same dish of rice, unwashed for your viewing pleasure.
And curry is a thing that would not exist in us white people's culture if it weren't for the cultures that invented fucking curry.
What are you talking about? I can get a bowl of curry at the fucking pub, mate. What are you talking about? I can get it with my shepherd's pie and my bottle of water.
Bottle of water.
What are you saying? Jolly old England don't have curry? Oi, oi, oi.
Wouldn't have curry if it didn't fucking colonize India.
Spider-Fan says green curry is better than red curry. No, red curry over green curry any day, especially when you add peanut butter and make massaman.
I'm actually not big into curry. I mean, Japanese curry might be different. Indian curry specifically, I'm not really into, but that's mostly because for 5 years I worked at a restaurant where the chefs were all Indian, and it was not an Indian restaurant, but the staff meal every day was some form of curry, which it was fine. But after eating curry every day for 5 years, I'm kind of over it. Although I do still like I've talked to you about this before. I want to bring you to Toronto to go to that one place where we get the butter chicken, which is fucking amazing. Little
Naki
India
Brie.
on Queen Street in Toronto. It's amazing.
Naki Brie says, "Why don't you wash your rice? It gets the extra starch off, which can make it less sticky." Right, but what
what
about
if you want sticky rice?
What about my eating experience changes when that rice is less sticky? Let me tell you the dishes that my rice gets used in. It gets used in various curries where the rice gets mixed in with the curry or soaked in the curry. The stickiness of the rice changes nothing about the dish.
Okay, Jassa, you make a good butter chicken. You come to my house, you make me butter chicken, then I take you to Little India, we buy their butter chicken, we compare. I'm not even saying that yours is for sure going to be worse than theirs. I just think that would be fun. So come make me butter chicken, Jassa.
Also, I tend to make, like, if I'm making a cheesy rice, that the clumpiness of that rice no longer matters. I've literally added milk glue to it. If I'm doing like fried rice, the stickiness of the rice no longer matters either, because when you make fried rice, you literally dry the rice out and crumble it back up afterwards before you fry it. Yeah. So like in every dish that I eat, every single one, there is no difference between like a sticky rice or a not sticky rice. If I'm doing like my my chicken katsu over rice, that spoonful of rice with the chicken is identical either fucking way. I don't understand where my rice needs to not be sticky comes from or why it matters.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never noticed a difference, so I've just never done it. Like, I used to do it, but then I'm like, I didn't do it once, and was like, oh, that's the same as if I do wash it. Okay.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't change enough to warrant the extra work, and there are certain acquiescences that I will make in cooking to guarantee that I will make a meal again, as opposed to putting myself through hell just for the shits of it. And an extra 2 or 3 minutes to wash my rice is not worth it when that's one more barrier for my brain to go, you could just order out instead.
Yeah.
I could just choose not to do that.
Yeah.
Also, Dead Domain, thank you so much for the raid. How's it going?
Dead Domain!
How was your stream?
Dead Domain's good people.
Fadio says, joke's on you, I'm banned there. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. How's it going? No, you're not banned over here. Not yet, anyway. You want to try, though?
All you have to do is say you must wash the rice. You'll get the ban hammer.
Now, get mad at me for not washing my rice, and I might find a reason to take you out.
All right. Next tweet, Robin Poss says, my daughter goes out for the bus at 8:15 and waits beside the lilac bush until the bus arrives at 8:20. She stayed home today. At 8:17, a truck lost control, drove through the lilac before striking the pole. Reminder that nothing in this world is random. God is in control. God needs to go back to driving school if God's in control here. First off, let me say, I'm happy your daughter's fine. But it sounds like God wasn't in control of that truck.
It sounds like God wanted your daughter to be scared as fuck for no good reason.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of a shitty God threatens a child with a running, like a truck that's about to run them over? What kind of a weak-ass fucking deity does that? And what kind of an idiot worships that deity?
And what about all the kids that do die in car accidents? That happens all the damn time.
I'm glad you were one of the lucky ones, but, fuck Jeff over there.
And also, like, it was a big-ass truck. As you all know, I'm a bit of a bigot when it comes to people who drive big-ass trucks. I don't think they're necessary in 99% of cases. And,
I'm a bit of a, if they have a vehicle on the road, it doesn't fucking matter. Shut the fuck up, Rhino. That's where I'm at on that.
I fucking hate big-ass trucks. I fucking hate them.
You are allowed this bigotry, and I am allowed to make fun of you for it.
Okay, but do you know how many kids die every year because they're playing in the driveway and someone couldn't see their own child playing in the driveway because their big-ass truck was too big?
Yeah?
It's a lot.
And you know how much that has been mitigated by having proper backup cams?
Not enough.
Not enough. Oh, we have numbers.
Not off the top of my head, no.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
But yes, the numbers exist. They support me, goddammit.
I'm sure they do.
Do your own research.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad to know one of us
Watch a Not Just Bikes video.
I've watched a lot of Not Just Bikes videos.
Then you should know why big-ass trucks are bad.
Okay.
Hey, but backup cameras are only as good as the people that are using them. Like, I'm in Canada.
You're right.
It's the winter.
So it's not the trucks we need to get rid of. It's the truck owners we need to get rid of with prejudice,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we're on the same
page. Get them all up against the wall.
Anybody, did you guys know that Vice Rhino advocates for a very specific, weirdly autistic form of genocide?
Yes, against truck owners.
Strange. Weird.
The people who put truck nuts on their trucks are first in line, though. Can we agree on that at least?
Say that again?
The people who put truck nuts on their trucks are first in line for the wall. Can we agree on that?
No, we can't agree on that because there's a certain level of just raw power that comes from having testicles hang from your trucks. You have to admit.
No, they're just stupid.
Hypesman stupidity is power. Haven't you seen Trump? Hypesman Gaming says favorite live action movie you've recently seen, Aliens. I had never seen the Alien franchise until literally like a week or two ago.
I don't remember what the last movie I saw was. Oh, no, the last movie I saw was Wicked. The second one. It was pretty good. The first one was better. But I mean, I knew that was going to be the case because the musical kind of falls apart in the second act, and this is just a movie version of the musical. So it fell apart in the second act. Raven says, unless you require a big truck for a profession, I don't see a good reason to have one. Yeah, so here's the thing. The big trucks are actually worse at doing the things that you need for the professions than the little trucks are. Because, if you actually look at the stats, the big truck with the extended cab and the big fucking engine or whatever, it has a lower towing capacity than a little bitty truck.
It's lower because it's towing the fucking frame.
Yeah. So a little bitty truck with a bigger bed is a better truck.
This is one of the so I will say this though, there are benefits as a sidebar. There are benefits to all the research that has been done to building the larger frames. So for instance, the Ford F-250 frame. The F-250 frame is not just used for the F-250. The F-250 frame is also used for the Ford Excursion. The Ford Excursion is a van that is built basically like a tank. One of my best friends who got involved in a car accident that prevented him from being able to walk for the rest of his life, the Ford Excursion is the only reason he's able to get over the PTSD of driving, because driving a literal giant fucking tank is the only thing he feels safe in anymore after getting
but now everybody else on the road is less safe because he's in his big giant fucking tank. If everybody was in little cars and little trucks, the world would be a much better place.
And then he just wouldn't be able to drive and he would be stuck at home unable to function. That is the
Ninjestray
world you
says,
just advocated
ahem,
for.
war words, many, many, many war words. I don't even know which war words you're referring to, but I can. It's something about trucks. Popping over to Rhino chat to ask if you've seen that Trump came out on the side of Japanese, small Japanese style trucks. Yeah, no, there were little bitty cars that Trump like signed an executive order to like command people to manufacture in the States, which like I'd be okay with more small things on the road and fewer gigantic useless pieces of crap.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the solution is better public transit and more walkable cities. Yeah, absolutely.
You are 100% correct. May I add you the counter? I live in rural Georgia. Nothing's fucking walkable. There are no cities here. There are strips of road that call themselves towns.
Yeah,
I agree with the words you said, 100%. But those aren't even a catch-all solution when we already live in a poorly designed place.
yeah, but even like it's not just about the rural areas. It's about like even the urban areas have shit public transit.
Oh no, I agree. That's why it says like it's one of those things where I agree with every word you said.
I live in the
just
Niagara
do not
region.
believe they go far enough.
Like outside of Toronto, the Niagara region is one of the most built up regions in Ontario. And if I want to take public transit to a place that is a 20-minute drive away, I have to like there's like a 4-hour wait between bus connections at a place that is not close to anything and has no amenities.
Taproot says, but more people in cities drive pavement princesses than in rural areas, so rural areas aren't even part of the conversation. Apologies that the area that I live in is most certainly part of the conversation, because I've lived in a somewhat rural area that or not rural, but like more suburban area, very suburban spread out, which is a step left of that. And in that area that I lived in when I was 18, that was Crestview, Florida, it actually had pretty good public transportation across the entire city, despite it not being, truly a city in the same sense that like Atlanta or New York are a city. It had very functional public transit because it was a military town. It was sandwiched between 4 military bases. I do not believe that a town should need the privilege of being a military stronghold to gain access to good public transit. I would like to be able to go to a bus stop near my house.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, this is just going to cause more fights. So let's move on. Frank Turek.
No, the fights are fun. Let's keep...
We don't want to talk about Frank Turek?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay.
You have a moral law written on your hearts. You know that torturing babies for fun is wrong. You reason back to a moral lawgiver whose nature, his goodness...
Why did you clarify for fun?
Yeah, that's my question. That's my main point here.
Why are we clarifying for fun? Are you okay with torturing a baby for information?
It's because
is that okay?
It's because he lives in a world where, because baby cancer exists, his god tortures babies. So there has to be a reason for it aside from it being for fun. That makes it okay for God to do it.
Yeah.
That's the purpose of the for fun modifier. I actually have a montage for that. I don't have it ready, but I can get it pretty quickly. I actually know where I saved it, I think. Great new media source.
Also, Sylvie, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub to both Aaron and Jassa.
Assets. Roll.
Also, I like the parts of the stream where we fight, because it's fun.
Yeah, so is the part where I wait for my hard drives on my NAS to spin up so that I can play a video.
Yeah?
About torturing babies for fun.
This is the part where I add in a little bit of B-roll footage, effectively, just saying words and using those words to entertain you all, so that it covers up that Rhino is stuck on this one joke
that we
and will
know
not leave until
that
the joke is presented. There we go. Hi, Cameron.
Oop,
Can't
wrong.
hear him, but that's kind of better.
Shush.
That is a marked improvement.
I am getting there. Yeah, no, it's good that we can't hear Cameron. Video properties, monitor and output. Those we should be able to hear him now.
Know that it's objectively wrong to torture infants for fun.
Every one of us knows that torturing an innocent baby for fun is
Why
wrong.
do they keep saying
We
fun?
understand that torturing babies for fun is really wrong.
That it's truly always wrong to torture a baby for fun.
They say they have to keep adding for fun because they know that their god tortures babies.
Also, what if you're torturing it for information and you find that fun?
Yeah, the fun is just
What if the
secondary.
great state of the Uniteds tells you that you must torture the babies in order to collect information pertinent to helping ICE? Is it good then? And like if you do the whole like, well, you better like what you do. Does that make it okay? Because then you're not doing it for the fun. It's just a domino effect, right?
Yeah. Jas Proxy says, "Blessed is he who dashes the infants upon the rocks," which is from Psalm 190 something or other.
And remember, in the context of that verse, blessed means happy.
Mm-hmm.
Happy is he who dashes the babies across the rocks.
137:9 is the psalm. Yeah.
Yay!
Happy is he who takes your infants and dashes them upon the rocks. Also, in my response to Mike Winger, that's coming up in either a few days or a week and a few days. It's hilarious. It is fucking hilarious just how bad he is at being an apologist. Like he's just bad at it. Like he doesn't even come up. Like it's one of his 10 questions live streams, but his first question was like he's reading an article by an atheist and responding to it. So it's like he prepared for this in advance, and he still doesn't land on the actual apologetic for stuff. Like he'll talk about like the God could not drive out the the Lord was with Judah, but he could not drive out the inhabitants of the lowlands because they had chariots of iron. And his whole apologetic for that is like, oh, well, when it says that he couldn't drive it out, it doesn't say that the he is God, so that he is Judah. So it's not God that can't drive him out. Okay, but the Lord was with Judah, motherfucker. Are you saying that the Lord was with Judah, but he decided just to not do anything? That doesn't make it better. So either your God is not all powerful, so couldn't drive out people with chariots of iron, or your God is very fickle and cruel. Wasn't the he capitalized? No, it was not in the translations that we looked at. However, I don't think ancient Hebrew has capitalization, so that would be a translational discretion thing rather than a this is what it actually said thing. So that was kind of a non-issue. But it's just funny because like there is an actual apologetic response to that one, but it's not talking about whether or not the he in that verse is God, because that doesn't matter because the Lord was with Judah.
He likes it when you throw the babies harder.
Mm-hmm. He does. That's actually part of it because in chapter 2, it's like the Lord is like, hey, you guys have stopped listening to me, so I'm going to leave some Canaanites around to be a thorn in your side. And so that's the apologetic, is that this is God leaving Canaanites to be a thorn in their side. Doesn't really work because the part where they lose there is in the first chapter where they are still listening to God and doing everything he commands. But the funny thing is that in the second half of chapter 1, the thing that they stopped doing, that is what made God angry, is they stopped killing everybody. They stopped being as genocidal as God wanted. They let some people live. And so God was like, oh, you're letting them live? Okay, well, they're going to be a thorn in your side. You should have killed them all.
Jeffrey, I really like it when the humans down there kill everyone.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I just really look like Dark Matter's videos.
I know. I got the reference.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of his the Battle of the Baby Mamas. I forget what the video is called.
Is that the one about Solomon?
No. It's Jacob and his wives.
Mhm.
Like he had the 2 wives and the 2 wives slaves and the 12 kids by all of them. And like sometimes they're barren because God made them barren. Sometimes they're giving babies because God made them give babies. And sometimes they're like, oh, sleep with my maidservant because I'm barren, but she'll give you a child and we'll call that child mine. And it's pretty good. Anyway. Torturing babies for fun is wrong, but torturing babies in general, apparently not wrong.
There's a difference between torturing them for fun and torturing them for information, don't you know?
Yeah. And that was the last tweet for tonight.
Hello. Fantastic.
And we have a super chat. 1 Samuel 15:3. That's the Amalekite genocide. I don't even need to look that one up. That's go and strike Amalek. And it specifies like men and women, child and infant. So like it uses different words for the child and the infant. And that's actually the genocide that made God angry at Saul, because Saul didn't kill everybody. He just killed everybody except the king. He left one person alive, and showing mercy to one person is what made God so angry with Saul that he decided, I'm not going to make you king anymore. I'm going to make David king instead of you. So, yeah.
Yay!
Our God is an awesome God. He kills for all the blood.
Why am I craving pizza now?
I don't know, but I'm not craving pizza.
Pizza sounds fantastic.
Pizza
now.
sounds terrible because that's one of the few foods that all the kids in the house will eat, so we eat it more often than we should. And so I'm just tired of pizza.
That just sounds like a fantastic situation.
No,
you get to eat more pizza.
No, it's no.
Like that's wildly amazing. Don't you?
I want real food again, sirs. I want someone to cook for me, like actual food, but I don't want to have to pay for it.
Would you like me to cook for you?
I would. You come to my house and cook for me.
Okay, cool. Are you paying for the plane ticket?
How much is it? Maybe.
I don't know. Let's find out. Fuck it. We're here.
It's a business expense. It's tax time. I need some deductions.
It is entirely for the purpose of us doing a collab stream together. When we didn't do that over at John's place.
Where do you live? Georgia?
Yeah.
Atlanta? Athens? Where?
It's the Atlanta airport's always going to be cheaper than the Athens airport.
Flight from Atlanta to Toronto. $189. That might be doable.
That's not even that horrible, honestly.
No, $200. That's round trip. Atlanta to Toronto. Let's go halfsies.
I don't hate that idea, actually.
You can help me finish my goddamn office.
I shouldn't have opened my big mouth. Now I'm down $100 and however much time this is gonna take.
Set up a fundraiser. We need $200 to get Sirs to come help Rhino build his fucking office.
Could I also get like $50 for the match at the Gathering convention this weekend?
I have no comment on that. That one's on you.
Yeah, no. It's a free convention.
Fuck, Sirs, this is nothing. That's $184 Canadian.
Oh, so it's like 150 US.
Yeah.
It's really not that bad. So that'd be what, 75 each at that point? 75 USD each?
So 185 Canadian is 132.
At that point, I could get.
It's like $60 each. 65.
I was gonna say at that point I could get it for both me and Saki. Like if we're splitting at least mine. But then I realized I don't think Saki's gonna want to be around kids for a week.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of those.
I think that would be torture for her.
Yeah, like if you want to bring Saki, she's welcome to come. But I have a lot of kids. If she doesn't want to be around that many kids, it's gonna be a nightmare. Now, to be fair, that is just the first thing that came up when I Googled it. So it's like going to be the like super cheap airline that charges you like an extra $20 if you want to check bag. And whatnot. So that's not necessarily actually a good price.
I mean, I don't check in a bag. I've never flown and checked in a bag when I can help it.
Okay, but most of the flights are actually like in the $400 range.
Oh,
I don't know where it came up with 184.
Never mind. This is now suddenly less doable and more frustrating. I now have depression and require pizza. Which is functionally exactly where I was at before, but...
I mean, no, it's one way. Okay. I don't know. What? Why would they give me the one-way price?
Because it's America to Canada. What do you think?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That sounds very general.
Okay, but it's very deceptive because if I pop this up here, so it says 184 cheap flights from Atlanta to Toronto, and then it says 184 flight on Tuesday, February 3rd, and I've got round trip selected, but if you actually click on the flight, it is one way. One way per traveler. So, yeah. Unfortunately, it's not as cheap as the predatory marketing makes it seem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agamotto says Saki's already around one child. I do not need your words regardless of their accuracy.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's it for tonight. Are you streaming after this?
I do not think so, only because I literally began this stream with a conversation about my recent burnout problems. So maybe I should adhere to the words I said.
Probably. Okay, so I won't raid you. Alrighty.
I'd say we raid Dead Domain, but they raided me, so...
Well, I'll see if there's anybody else on, but if not, I'm not raiding anybody.
Let's
So as always,
see here.
fuck off.